I once believed that wisdom came from books, from grand knowledge, or intellectual debates. But there came a moment when everything I thought I knew became meaningless, when what I was so certain of turned out to be nothing more than a thin coat of paint over cracked walls. It was then that I realized wisdom doesn't begin with knowing. It begins with honesty, not with the world, but with myself. There were days when I thought I was strong, but inside I was full of unease. I acted as if I understood life, but I was merely repeating what others had said. I lived by what I should do, not by what I truly believed. I built ideal versions of myself to avoid facing the uncomfortable truth, that I was flawed, uncertain, sometimes even empty. But it was precisely when those facades began to crack that I started to see myself more clearly. And in that fragile light, for the first time, something flickered, something I now call wisdom. I learned to listen inward. When I said, I don't know, instead of feeling inadequate, I felt open. When I admitted, I'm afraid, I no longer had pretend. When I owned, I was wrong, I began to truly grow. Bit by bit, I let go of the need to be perfect and chose something far more important. Truth. The truth of who I am, even when it's messy, contradictory, or vulnerable, turned out to be a firmer foundation than any theory I had studied. And as I began to live honestly, my relationships changed too. I no longer had to guess who I needed to be accepted. I showed up as myself, no more, no less. Strangely, others began to meet me with the same sincerity. Wisdom, I realized, is not a solitary peak to be conquered, but a shared space built on what is real. I still stumble, still learn, and I'm not always honest right away. But I know that every time I dare to look inward and say, this is me, I take one small step further on the long journey of wisdom, a journey that doesn't begin in brilliance, but in quiet truth, sometimes silent, sometimes lonely, but always worthwhile.